Good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Foster and I'm here with my buddy Chris
Good
as
morning,
we
sir.
work this Touch Base Daily of Focus Friday. It's Focus Friday. We got a couple of things going to be focusing on today. And so, how's everybody doing today? How are you doing as I search for my little banners here and put my little thing? There we go. Touch Base Daily. So, you know where you are. If you pop on the screen, or pop onto this feed, you're like, okay, who is this and what's going on this page? So, anyway, I just want to say I'm exhausted, but I'm good.
I hear that.
It's been a busy week. I'm glad it's Friday. I have a couple of projects I'm working on. Chris, what are you up to these days? What are you up to today, I should say?
So today, Friday typically is as they would say back in the day, it's my chores day. So I do the laundry, I clean up, I do my regular job, posts and stuff like that. I do touch base daily. And then I just try to get caught up. I got a couple meetings today as well. So today's gonna be a really busy day. So when like 8, 9 o'clock comes around, it's just like, all right, yeah,
It's
I'm tired.
nonstop. It's nonstop, right?
Yeah, it is nonstop.
I wonder how everyone's doing in this heat wave. I mean, the heat wave is now technically across the whole country.
Can I tell you something? I'm not feeling it.
Oh,
Because you know why? I get up really early in the morning. I went and did my 4.25 mile walk this morning. I'm gonna actually post something in my story today because I'm testing out a new piece of gear that
oh,
I want to
really?
use for work. It's a as a matter of fact, do I have it here? I can show it to you.
What
No,
is
of
it?
course it's in the other room, of course. It's well, I can show you part of it. So I've got a couple of these little DJI action cams, and I want to do like a POV for when
Uh-huh.
I'm working like out on the road. So they had this neck strap that you can attach your DJI Osmo camera to,
To
and you
your
can shoot it.
neck,
Yeah, it sits on the neck, and
and the
it just
camera
kind of,
goes out like this and looks
well, you
at
can
you.
either do it pointing towards you or pointing towards away from you. And you
Ah,
can record in vertical format as well. So I did a story this morning of my entire walk. So I sped it up like 800%. I'm putting some graphics on it, and I'm gonna just kind of see the reaction. But I want to use it for other clients as well. So, you
you
know,
know, it's one thing I will say for those that don't know Chris, and you are here and you're getting to know Chris. Chris is not afraid to take on new technology. He's not afraid to try new stuff, and I tell
well, you
you,
have to.
yeah.
Other people are doing it. I mean, I've people use it for sports and that type of stuff, but I want to use it in what I do as far as like recording some of the concerts and stuff like that to get a different perspective. So
Mm,
I'm testing it out on myself first, and then I'll put it into action for work. So
I
I've
love
got a
it.
little while to test it out before I use it in that type of environment.
Nice, nice. Well, guys, it is definitely. Can y'all excel for Friday?
Yes.
It's Friday, but there's some stuff in the news. What else was in the news? Well, we are talk for those that just joined today. We're going to be talking about the AI clause and mechanism, opting out, opting in, allowing you to stay in versus America versus outside on Facebook Meta. But then also that brings us to also the subject of um, Apple has their new AI. What is it called?
It's called Apple Intelligence. Apple, see,
Apple
the
Intelligence.
one thing about Apple is they'll take an existing technology, they wait, and then they come out with their own version of it and they rebrand it. And it's actually really smart because it distinguishes themselves from the rest of the market. And
Hmm.
as of right now, it was just introduced. It's not public. It's just betas right now, and people are testing it. It will come out sometime in the fall, but it's interesting to see. And the thing about with Apple is it gets widely adopted instantaneously because of how many millions and millions of phones they have around the world,
Hmm.
and their their reach is so far, and then they've got so many devices, so that once they introduce something, people get updates all the time. You've got updates on a lot of the older phones, so we'll see what happens with them come this fall and their Apple Intelligence. But continue, my friend.
Yeah, I'm just the AI technology. They just said on the news today, I think it was this morning, that companies are gearing up for AI to take over many jobs.
Yeah,
And they are sharing that this is not something that's going to be rolling out years from now,
it's
that
happening.
is happening now. And people are going to be using AI for accounting, for doing analytical work that people do right now in corporations. And so AI, guys, AI, I mean, for those that are terrified of AI and that are like fighting against the technology, it's here and it's here to stay. You're going to have to get with the program, or you are going to be left behind. And I always said, right now I'm 60 years old, and I said, when I turn 90, I will be that guy on the motorcycle. Like, I know how to ride a motorcycle now. But
You
I'll be
you
on
don't have to. AI will drive it for
AI will
you.
drive it for me. I'll just get on, and it'll just take me to where I need to go, and I'll be
Yep.
in my leather jackets and leather pants at 90.
There you go.
Can you
Well,
see
here
the picture?
I can. So wait, I want to touch on something you talked about a little bit. People are afraid of AI and the fact that it's taking over jobs. I think people need to realize and understand is that as of right now, it's not going to take over. You're going to need people that understand how to use AI to
Yes.
implement it and maintain it and that type of stuff. So it's not going to take over the jobs. It's going to be a resource in which you can use. So, for instance, people who have to write tons and tons of emails a day, you can kind of feed into these learning models and tell it, hey, or type out a little phrase and say, this is what I kind of want. It wants to be business worded, and it will create the text for you. But then you don't have to accept that. You can continue to add on to it in addition to what it's given you. So it's really a tool to use. I have to say that I've slowly used AI. I didn't jump in full with both feet into it. I think
Hmm.
everyone needs to approach it a little bit differently. And there's many different types. Like, I used it really heavily in editing of photos. I thought that was really fun and interesting because it's something that I do on a daily basis. And then I started kind of using it textually,
Hmm.
but you do with a little grain of salt here and there, and then you can slowly implement it into your life. But I know that a lot of people find it very useful. It's a great tool to have. It also helps your workflow a little bit. So
I
if it can
love
if it can do
AI.
that, more power to it.
I have embraced it with all open arms. And again, like I was having this conversation last night about AI. For those, shout out to everyone that was at the Brooklyn Museum last night, celebrating giants, and the Jamel Shabazz and Jarvis Bowlin, I think it is. They were on a panel discussion talking about their work in this exhibition at the Brooklyn Museum, which is an amazing exhibition. If you have not gone, if you're in New York City, go to the Brooklyn Museum, check it out. It is an amazing exhibition. But the talk last night, I learned so much about Jamel Shabazz last night. Every time I have his books and stuff, and every time I think well, obviously you just keep learning. People have been, and I always remember that people have been married 50 years, 40 years, and they're still discovering their spouse. So when we look at our friendships with people, and we don't live in the same home, we don't hang out with them all the time every single day, how much more can we discover about one another? But back to AI, I was sharing last night, I said, AI for we who have dyslexia is the greatest gift to us. it has made my life so much easier. The question how we got on AI last night is that Howard Cash, who's been on the show, he was one of our first interviews
Excuse me.
on a Wisdom Wednesday, and he said, "How are you? Do you?" He said, "Ron, do you write?" I said, "Well, technically, I like to write. I want to write, and I do write, but I just never really wrote like for publicly, like in the public arena." And I said, "However, though, because of AI, I now can do it. I just started, like, for instance, when you guys tune in on Tuesdays, my Tip Tuesdays or my Motivation Mondays, um, those
Is that
are contributed by AI because what I'm able to do is lay out all my thoughts. I can say, oh, photography is this, or photography is that. And I can kind of like go through and lay things out, or things that I'm experiencing. And then I can write it out. And then I can copy and paste and put it into my AI, my little co-pilot, because that seems to be the one that loves me and knows my how I think and how I speak. And then I'm able to say, make this grammatically appealing in my voice to my online community. And it does it. It goes, and I go, and then I obviously have to go in and tweak it a little bit because it doesn't know me all the way, it doesn't know me 100%. But it has made no longer do I have to try to formulate my thoughts in my head and then bring it to paper. Now I can just, as my thoughts are formulating in my head, I just write them down. Just write, and write and write. And then I have AI organize it. So it is for we who have dyslexia, it is one of the best tools ever invented for we folks. And so I heard it's 1 out of every 4 people has dyslexia.
well, here's the other thing too. The more you use it, the more it knows you, and it
Yes.
will be able to give you those suggestions ahead of you even prompting it to, because
Yeah.
that's the whole thing about AI. It's a learning module where there's going to come a point where this thing just knows you like the back of its hand, and won't have to. It'll know that every morning around this time you do certain things or you send a certain message. It'll be like, well, do you want to send this message today? That type of
Hmm.
thing. So as we continue to use these things will start to learn our behavior. It will know who our relatives are, who our spouses are, our routines in the day, and will start to ask us for things that, like a true assistant would, like someone who gets to know you, who's with you every day. They'll know that you have a certain patterns of things that you do every day. It'll automatically just prompt you, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? And that can be a powerful tool, especially for people that live by themselves. You know what I
Yes.
mean? You
Or
know?
the aging. I'm
Yeah.
realizing as I get older, my thoughts don't congeal always the way how they are in my head and how they come out. Maybe it comes out a little scrambled sometimes. And I'm finding that it is a great tool. Gwendolyn says, I use First Draft Ninja, which allows me to upload my own writing so it knows my voice. I mean,
See, and
I'm curious if, as Chris, as you get ready to say your point, how many of you in this are in this community? How many of you use AI as a tool in your everyday life or of some level? AI in your everyday life, because today's
well,
talk is AI for
well,
a
here's
little
the
bit.
thing. I think a lot of people don't realize they're using AI every day in their life. Um, and it happens behind the scenes that you don't even realize. So, for instance, if you have a smartphone today and you use any of the features in the smartphone, a lot of that stuff is AI powered. So, for instance, if you have an iPhone, even though Apple has never really come out and said, "Hey, we're using AI," their keywords has always been for the past several years. It's called machine learning.
Mm,
That's AI.
yeah, that's
So,
true.
for instance, when contextual aware things. So, for instance, like you show up to a certain location, it'll give you a prompt that for an app to use. It's doing that because it's using AI to know where you are, what you've done in the past, and suggest things to you. So we're all using AI. AI. It's just that we don't actually know it. A lot of the software
Hmm.
that we use online uses AI. You don't know about it. But what I was going to say, I was going to comment about what Gwenda was saying, what she was using. There's so many different AI models out there that you don't even know about them. Like I never heard about the Ninja. You know, the one that everyone typically does know is OpenAI and then Chat GPT because that's the one that everyone uses every day. But then for those who are in the creative space, if you use Photoshop, Photoshop now has built into it AI that you can use to remove stuff, to complete an image. You know, it's just different types of things. So I would say within the last several years, AI has become quote unquote really, really big. But within this last 6 to 8 months, it has kind of skyrocketed and it's in everything that we do and use on a
Yeah.
daily basis.
I mean, again, but we've been using, like you said, we've been using AI for a long time. If you've been using Waze for your traveling, that's all those AI, the communicating and saying, you know what, don't go this road because this road has construction, this road has
Yeah,
a car accident, this road has a bicycle and oil in it, oil slick. AI, we've been using AI for 10 years already, but now it's like it's now really getting revved up, and
it's in the forefront.
that's because we've also switched over from that was one of the reasons of switching over from 4G to 5G. 5G is now the capability of AI and robotics being able to be used on these platforms, and that was the whole reason why the globe of technology stepped up from 4G to 5G, and
Well,
many people were fighting against it, but that's one of the main reasons it was created 5G.
yes. So let's also clarify a little bit. The reason why 5G is important because it has bigger bandwidth and it's a faster speed. And in order for a lot of these models to work, they have to send the information to the cloud and back. And in order to do that, it has to happen seamlessly. It has to happen fast. So that when you put in a request or a query for something, it can go off to the cloud, do its thing, come back and give you that answer. Now, one of the things that's really making AI take off is that a lot of this stuff is being done on device where it doesn't have to go to the cloud. So, for
Yeah,
instance, Apple, of course, they're very big on security, so they want to have as much stuff on device as possible. So, they have what they call secure enclaves, where a lot of this stuff is processed inside on the phone. It doesn't talk to the other applications unless you give it permission to. And then also, one company that's actually really huge now in AI, and no one saw this coming. And they're not right now. It kind of goes back and forth, but earlier in the last like month or so, they were the largest company um, in the world. NVIDIA, NVIDIA have built
who?
NVIDIA. The people that used to make like the graphics cards that are in your like computer.
That's the NVIDIA, right? N with an N.
NVIDIA, yeah, NVIDIA,
Yes,
they're
yes,
called.
yes. I heard
So
that.
NVIDIA is actually making chips specifically for AI for on device computing. They go back and forth between Apple and Microsoft as the largest business in the world as far as the stock market. They're valued over $3.2 trillion roughly right about now, and they just kind of those three companies kind of swap. It depends on the day which one's on top. But Nvidia is a big player, and no one saw that coming because everyone just knew Nvidia as a graphics card company that handle the graphics in your computer on your PC. But they are huge players when it comes to AI now.
Wow. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I'm looking at it now. And yeah, every computer, it seems like every computer I've had has had that technology in it because they've been in conjunction with Microsoft sorry,
Yeah, but I
HP.
would I would say within the last year or two, now they're making specific chips to put in laptops that are AI powered. So when you get like
Wow.
if you get a computer, if you've gotten a computer this year, it has a and it's Windows based. Most likely, it has a NVIDIA AI chip built into it
Well, it
because
says it's
those
artificial.
those chips are very powerful. They're very power hungry and they're very intensive when it comes to doing calculations and stuff.
Wow. Well, I'm looking at. I mean, I'm gonna have to dive into this. I know. I like I said, I only knew this company, like you said, because of gaming. Oh, there it is. Yeah, see, there it is. Microsoft. There it is. Yeah, because I know that I've had earlier technology in some of my Microsoft computers in the past, but
And they always ran
I knew they
NVIDIA. Like,
are they a part of Microsoft or are they their own
no.
company?
But Microsoft typically uses their graphics cards and stuff exclusively in them. But like I said, most of the manufacturers now are buying the NVIDIA specific AI chips that they're putting in
Wow.
their computers because it's made for AI. And if you are not implementing AI in your technology, you're not here to play.
Well,
You're not even in the game.
Omar is another geek in the room. Today we are in geek world.
See, Omar should come on today.
Omar is a geek as well. Omar is like NVIDIA, NVIDIA. How do you say it?
What?
NVIDIA, right?
No,
NVIDIA?
NVIDIA.
NVIDIA.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's how most people
NVIDIA
pronounce NVIDIA.
is now the largest company in the world.
It
Wow.
might be so. Here's, like I said, every day it changes because I think Microsoft was earlier this week, and it might be Nvidia again. And then Apple, after their recent announcements, had come into second place. They were in third place. Like last year, they were in first place for a while. It's all about the stock market and what the market is doing that particular day. They switch up, day by day. But Nvidia has been number one for a little bit now.
Wow. I also we have Dr. Tachi. She's in the back of the studio. She will be coming on when we're going to talk about Facebook and this is new thing that's going on. But I see here Omar says once AI becomes sentient and is powering our government and law enforcement, we will be at the end. AI will control our court systems, healthcare, and will be the new human gatekeeper.
Listen, Terminator might be science fiction, but all science fiction becomes
Reality.
eventually. I mean, just look at Star Trek and
We do
um,
everything that was on Star Trek today.
yeah,
Tablets,
phone,
communicators,
wearable
phones.
devices, earpieces. I mean, Bluetooth devices. Like, think about it. All those things, that we used to watch growing up as kids. Them touching their
Your
wrist and
watch,
they
the wrist.
communicate. It's all there. Our watch take our vital signs. It can measure our blood oxygen. It can measure. It can tell you if you're having some type of an arrhythmia with your heart. It can
Yeah,
tell you to seek medical attention. If you get into a car crash, it can call 911 and tell them exactly where you
yes,
are.
yes.
People, wake up. We are in the future. We might not have the flying cars, but we have a lot of the technology that was put out there on a lot of these shows.
Well, anyways, with no further ado, we're gonna have the great media girl, the media queen, Dr.
Where's my
Tachi.
crown, damn it?
Yeah, you're wearing
Doctor,
it. You're
yes,
wearing it.
you
I'm
and
wearing it.
you're
I'm
wearing your
wearing it. Yes.
Yeah.
crown. You have your own crown, dearest. You have your own crown. So today is Technology Day. So
Yeah.
this is Focus Friday, but it's a little twist. We're focusing on technology and AI. So that's what we're doing on
Yes.
this Focus Friday.
Yes. We can't see the top of your head, Ron.
I know I'm going to get rid of this banner. There we go. There we go.
Oh, wow.
So Dr. Tachi, I know
Mm,
that you are. What I love about you is that you really dive into what's going on in media. That's why you have your media scope and all the stuff that you provide with us with your pop-ups. Right now there's a couple of videos going around in regard to this new Facebook. I don't know if some people tell me it's been there all the time, and I just didn't know about it. But this new opting out, opting in. I think it's like saying by June 26th or June 29th or
yes.
something like
By
that.
June 26th.
It's June
Yes.
26th.
Hmm.
Of Facebook or Meta using our photos, using our images, and using our conversations, using our text for their generated AI.
Hmm.
Is that correct? Is that like, is this, so at first I was like, is this a prank?
It is not a prank. And you know what? Let's be clear and let's be real. And our dear friend Chris can tell you they've probably been doing this all along. They have a habit of I'll do it now and apologize later for it.
I've heard that. Yes.
And here's the thing, because there are never any real repercussions when, oh, let's call him to the hill. We're indignant. And they call him to the hill. And then they go through, and they do this with all the tech companies. They go through everything that is wrong and what they're doing wrong. And they sit there and give half-baked answers, and they seem to be satisfied. And this all goes away, on to the next news cycle, on to the next bill or something else. So nothing ever gets done. So there's never any incentive for them to actually correct things that could be privacy issues. So for example, if I'm training, I'm using your photos, your images, your words to train our generative AI. It's like we think AI comes from the sky. No, it's pulling from things that already exist and aggregates them together. It's not that brilliant that it can, you know, if the human body, when you have children, can replicate what the parents and sisters look like, you think AI is that brilliant? It's made by people. So I think sometimes we give way too much credit. It doesn't come out of the sky. It's scraping existing sources for information. And that's how it comes up with things. And so then when you see a photo with like, this looks like a photo that I posted back in the 90s, you know, the late 90s.
It is.
It is. It is. And maybe not exactly, because it aggregates a lot of different things to make that up, but you probably will notice some similarities that to things that already exist. And I don't think that is a problem unless you don't give credit where credit is due. And that's the problem, the attribution end of it.
Yeah, like when I like, for instance, when I do my articles, I create my, you know, Motivation Mondays or Tip Tuesdays, and I put them into my Patreon. At the end of my Patreon, it'll say copy link, Copilot link, or it'll say these are my sources, and then it will give credit to all the sources so you can go and check them out. Also, it's great because you can list those sources, because when your audience wants to dive into the subject even more, they can now go to that article. They can go to all those things that are going to help them learn the subject. I do it with my students as I'm teaching them photography. I literally will walk with my students. I'll put in, say we're teaching leading lines today. I will bring up Copilot.
Yeah.
And I'm teaching my students how to use AI as a photography tool. So when for this, you know, Omar, I did put a link in for you. This an invitation.
Come on, Omar, come on.
And what I will do is, as I'm teaching, I'll say, okay, today we're doing leading lines. I show her how to, you know, just yesterday, 2 days ago, I had the class, and I put in information, and then it come out. It'll tell you what leading lines are. It'll give you all the articles and stories. And then I'm able to dive in and say, okay, let's look at some images that give direct correlation of what it is to use leading lines with arrows showing. So I'll do that. And then we'll go on. And she's like, oh my gosh. Oh, I didn't realize that. Oh, yeah. And I'm showing her all the types of leading lines that exist, but it's AI that's giving me the capability of being a better teacher.
Yeah.
Because back in the time, you had to research all of it, put it together, and then present it to a student. Yes. Now you can just go into AI with the student, because I don't want the student to think, oh, Ron, you're so brilliant. I want the student to know how to research it for themselves. So we'll go in. I say, this is because they don't know about composition. They may not know this. They don't know the names of leading line composition, rule of thirds, all this stuff. I'm teaching them that, but I'm also teaching them how to dive in. Yeah. And AI is the best way to teach your students how to dive in. Yes.
So here's two things. I want to. All right, let's stick with AI for a quick second. So, you know, everyone thinks that AI is just kind of, it's just really about your phone and maybe your tablet and your PC, but it's more than that too. And I want to look at it from like a photography perspective. over the last several years, when you look at our cameras that can do like auto eye detect, pet detection, and then also can track, that's AI because it's learning people, it's learning faces, it's learning eyes. It knows when the eye is closed versus opened.
Yes.
That's AI built into it. And I think as we move forward, you're going to start to see a lot of camera manufacturers, especially, starting to add a lot of this stuff in, because now not only are camera companies having to compete against other camera companies, they're competing against phone companies. They are running scared of like Samsung, Google, and Apple, because all right, for those Apple fanboys that are out there, the last two major keynotes that Apple has presented have been recorded on iPhones only. They're not using other cameras. They're only capturing them on a little cell phone this big, and they're editing on iPads and Macs.
Yeah.
That is crazy. 5 years ago, you would never heard anyone say they're going to do a major presentation that's going to go worldwide on an iPhone. Movie studios are using iPhones now to shoot movies.
Yeah.
See that, and let me speak to that. This is why folks have to level up. Let's just be clear and honest about that. Apple has a proprietary product that they already have, the iPhone. In their minds, they're saying, we have these capabilities to be able to shoot longer form video. Why are we not doing that when we're doing our keynotes? We can't sell this as a feature if we don't do this ourselves. That's one.
Absolutely.
Number two, why are we paying for rental of cameras or other people to do it when we have something that can do it ourselves? So it's also a cost-effective measure when it comes to that. So absolutely, Chris. I think too, though, that like you say, camera manufacturers are running scared, but it's also camera manufacturers when it comes to not just still photography, but motion picture as well.
Yes.
So the thing is, though, there's still that haughtiness in our industries. We're like, I would never shoot on an iPhone. I would never. So there's still that haughtiness and that nose up in the air when it comes to that. But what we have to realize is who is a photographer now and who's a filmmaker. And I don't mean trained filmmaker or trained photographer. What I mean is anyone in this day and age who picks up a camera to record memories, either still or moving, they then become part of that world. It's the same thing when we talk about bloggers and vloggers. Oh, they're not journalists. Oh, they're citizen journalists. They absolutely are. They may not be trained in the way we're used to it, but they're citizen journalists. And what's going to hold us back is if those of us in these fields who don't embrace things like technologies like mobile phones, AI, etc., and we're still so stuck on the old ways of proving we know how to thread a reel-to-reel 35 millimeter we're still stuck on that. All right, you sit there with your bag, your loading bag, and try to put it on a reel. Meanwhile, I've already shot a film. So that's what we have to look at.
Well, this is what Roland Martin did on one of his, I think it was maybe it was last month, and he was talking about how, again, with the AI subject, and also the careers of journalists and television production, and how he saw the writing on the wall years ago that people were going to stop looking at mainstream media and migrating to streaming on like places like YouTube. And now you're seeing a major exodus of news people leaving MSNBC, leaving CNN, leaving all of these newswork, Fox or whatever. And because they have their strong, they want to share the stories that are meaningful to them. And they don't have to worry about the boss, the CEO, or whoever the person's in charge saying, or some producer saying, nope, you only got 5 minutes for this particular topic. And
so
now they can come on and do that. So you put a pin, as they say, put a pin in that one. Put a pin in that.
So listen, you both bring up something that's really insightful. And I'm going to continue to go back to Apple because, I'm in that world, in that ecosystem, and that's where I kind of live. Years ago, when Apple would do keynotes and presentations, the invitations would always go out, 2 weeks or so ahead, and all of the media circuits would get it, ABC, NBC, CBS, CNET. Now, they get invites, but you know who get the invites and the personal demos? They're the YouTubers who have millions of views because you know what? That's where people are going to get their information from. Marcus Brownlee,
Yes.
iJustine,
Yes.
all those people, they come and what Apple has been doing now lately over the last year, especially since the pandemic, they've been creating spaces for them where they build a set for them to come and record their shows. Not only does it give them even more stature and more clout, but also now it's highlighting Apple as this media company that allows YouTubers to come and give them first dibs at their products. You know, and then when they come to these events, they send them home with the products. They're able to do the reviews. They have embargoes. They have that stipulate they can't release it. But then that Tuesday before the product comes out, everybody at 8 a.m. releases their reviews, and no one cares about CBS. No one cares about NBC or ABC. It has to go to the YouTubers because everyone is going to go on YouTube and watch their favorite YouTuber and watch the reviews.
Yes.
That's how you get your products out.
To your point, absolutely. To your point, can you see I'm excited? To your point,
this is your play. This is your play field.
It is. But all you have to do, and hitting there on the importance of YouTube and all of this, and social, but particularly YouTube, all you have to do is go to, and this is not, he's reporting mostly entertainment news. Do you guys know who Funky Dineva is?
No.
Okay. I heard the name.
Yeah. So he's like a vlogger, and he was on something. Was it on Revolt? I don't remember. But I met him because he was the student of one of my chapter sorors. So he and I co-hosted an event we did together. At this time, I didn't know who he was, but then I'm like, hey, that's that guy that was such and such a student. So he's blown up. He has a daily broadcast of news. It's mostly celebrity news, but a daily broadcast of news. And he has at least 12,000 people that watch every night on YouTube.
Wow.
On YouTube. This is daily, Monday through Friday, I think. So can you imagine if we look at this and put this in the tech world, if somebody like a Marquez Brownlee or someone did tech news on a daily basis, if we have people who did media news on a daily basis, this already shows that we can pull the numbers and have people watch and be the authority. This is why we have to be careful with that power too. We need to know what we're talking about. So we could be the authorities because like you said, who watches CBS? And this is not a dig.
No,
this is not a dig. It's not a dig.
They're losing.
Yes, because CBS skews older and they have forever and they are not changing their demographic. Maybe it doesn't make sense to, but we have to look at in media and in tech, you're not looking for who's watching your program or who's buying your products today. You're looking at who's going to do it tomorrow and how can I get tomorrow's children to buy and
also
welcome, Omar.
Just to tie all that in, AI is feeding you those feeds. Like if you watch one technology video, it's going to go out and see things that are similar and feed it to you. So it all ties in. It's all about AI and generating and pushing things towards you. What's up, Omar?
Omar's in the room, y'all. Omar is in the room. Look at this. I love these our round tables. These are good. But when Roland Martin was talking about that, and then I'm looking at, I am a lemon head. I'm part of Lemon Nation. So for those that don't know what that is, that's what's his name? Lemon.
Don Lemon.
Don Lemon. Brain got froze there. But Don Lemon comes on every day at 5 o'clock, 5 at Live, the Eastern time. And he comes on every day at 12 noon, giving the news. So the audience has evolved. I mean, he's heading now to 200,000 subscribers, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, that's a." I mean, he's only been doing this now for I think it's a month and a half, 2 months, maybe about 2 months.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And but. Again, he was saying on his platform, he says he walks the streets of New York and people walk up to him and say, hey, I saw you on YouTube this week. I saw you on
Mhm.
YouTube. I saw you on YouTube. He said when he was on CNN, no one walked up to him and say, "Hey, I saw you on CNN." I mean, it was a given, obviously, but he says it is the reach as a journalist is far more reaching to these to people that you would have never ever get the exposure to.
Absolutely. And it's the people that want to watch him and they're going to
Yes,
share his content. It's not like, well, all right, I'm only in this time slot and it's very hard. You're only going to, if you ever want to go back and watch him, you're only going to get little clips here and there when he was on CNN. Whereas now you can go back and watch his show anytime you want.
all day, any time of the day. I'm in the thing, and one day he shot it and say, "Hey, Ron Foster said," and I said, "Yo."
He did?
He did. He said that a couple of
You had
days
to say
ago.
that. You had to put that up.
Yeah.
I was like, he said, and Ron Foster says, and I was like, "Oh, my name has been mentioned," and because we all chat. The whole
Yeah.
platform is really about the chat and the people
That's the other
communicating.
thing.
And he
The
does polls
interaction.
throughout the whole, like, what
Yeah.
do you think about this? And then the poll. What do you think about that? Then it's the poll. So now I'm like, I need some polls, but we don't have a large audience in that level, but it's interesting to see people interact. So Omar's in the building. Omar, you use a lot of I use the AR in my editing. Like, for instance, I use Lightroom, which I'm trying to learn how to use my Photoshop more. But I've been using Lightroom for now 9 years of editing, 9 years of editing photography. And it is a different beast from just 9 years ago. Shoot, it's a different beast from 5 years ago. Omar, you've been doing this in the photography world for a long time. How has AI helped you or made you feel like I don't like this?
Well, after listening to the conversation with you guys, Chris made a lot of great points. We're all similar in age, and well, I'm older. Well, I'm just a little bit younger than you.
Yeah, I'm the oldest person in the room. I'm
But
the
we
grandpa.
all grew up.
Wisest person in the room.
Yes.
We all grew up in that Star Trek and Star Wars and all that stuff like that, and we're starting to see all of that was fantasy become reality. And as a photographer for now 40 plus years, and we see now, I don't shoot film anymore, even though I love film. My clients are my clients dictate the tools that I use.
Mm-hmm.
My choice would love to be in a dark room and doing 4x5s and stuff like that, and I probably end up that way when I'm all said and done. But I just shot 8,000 photos at a karate event, and I am not going to sit there and look at 8,000 photos. So I have AI tools to call down the images, to scan it all, to see, which ones are sharp, which ones are blurry, which ones are, they're looking in the camera, all kinds of stuff to do that for me.
Yes.
And then I can just look at the collective and just boop and send. So they're tools now. AI, especially in photography and in video and broadcast, all those things, they are amazing tools. And for the entrepreneur, we need these tools to be competitive.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're I'm a solo guy, but I want to look like a big time studio. I gotta have these tools to be competitive with teams that have 3 or 4 times as amount of firepower. But now it kind of evens the playing field a little bit. I can create 8K content if I wanted to. I mean,
yes,
I could. I just did my promo video for my workshop. All the voiceover was AI. So I just put
Wow.
in the script. I put in the script, the dates and all that, and boom, it sounds like a cinematic movie.
Ooh,
So
you gotta show me how to do that.
you can scroll down and pick an accent, European accent, Spanish accent, American
What
accent.
software are you using for that one?
It's free, in fact. Oh gosh,
We need to have a conversation
We
because I
need
can
to have a
definitely use that one.
conversation.
it's
That's a good one.
actually free. So it's kind of copy and paste.
Could think about it. Like for instance, when you look at TV and you look at the promos of programs, live is coming, live at 7 o'clock tomorrow is, good morning this or what, but there's most studios have announced they used to, now they're,
They have an
but now
announcer.
think about this tool that's going to do away with the announcer.
Well, no, but I don't think it's going to do away with. Sorry, I don't think it's going to do away with someone. I think what that does, it levels the playing field. So you've got these big broadcast productions, ABC, NBC, CBS, whatever, that have all this stuff that can afford to have all these people. But for people like us, entrepreneurs, we want to be able to compete in those spaces.
Yes,
these are the tools that we're going to use to level up. As Dr. Tachi would say, to give us that level playing field. You know what I mean? I would love to have tools like that, so I'm not having to run ragged every night trying to figure out, or I got to do this, got to do that. Let an AI tool do it. I add it in, and it's just a part of my production process.
I love it. Go ahead, Omar.
Just one last point. I'm using. I don't know if you ever heard of headshot tools. But
yes, I've heard of them. I'm learning about them recently. Matter of fact, this week.
I just did 300 headshots the other day, 2 weeks ago, 300 headshots. And normally it would have probably taken me 9 hours just to shoot it. And then, who knows, a week to go through all those images.
That's right.
With headshot tools, we're able to create galleries with a click of a button, send it out to each individual with a click of a button, and I don't have to do anything.
I'm coming down to be your assistant, Omar. I'm gonna learn this technology.
I used it yesterday at an event. Everyone just signed up. They get their own gallery. They get their own link. All that stuff is done. I can set the parameters of what images they can select, what they can purchase, all that stuff, all before the shoot. And then with one click of the button, mass email, all the photos go out to each individual.
Wow.
So
headshot tools?
Headshot tools. It's
okay, I think, all right, I found it.
If you do a lot of headshots, like I do, I'm about to do a headshot in about 10 minutes. But that is a game changer.
Yeah.
These tools, as long as they're tools.
Yes.
I guess my point, overall is we as the human overlords right now, we're in control. AI is not in control of our day to day. You can still decide what you want to do. You can leave your phone if you want to. You could disconnect if you want to. But we also become creatures of habit, and we adopt these tools as dependencies. And when we become dependent on these tools, we lose our authenticity. We lose our originality. We use our skills. I am a photographer. I use my eyes, my brain, and my hands. I don't want to lose that. I don't want to let that go. I still got a few good more years left. And so the creativity aspect of it as content creators, as filmmakers, as directors, as singers, as whatever we're doing in the creative sphere, let's continue to use these tools to enhance our profile, or enhance our production value, enhance our reach, but don't let it take over your originality. Don't let it take over who you are, why you got into this industry in the first place.
Yes.
The love of what we do. When that happens, when we let that go, then know better. We just become part of the algorithm. We become part of the system, the matrix, or whatever you want to call it. And
The
and
movie is coming to pass.
it's coming to pass, and I don't want to become a battery. So that's really what I wanted to plug in. I love this conversation, Dr. Tachi. I miss you. I love seeing you on screen. I'm gonna have to hop off, so you can kick me out, but I'm gonna continue listening. And don't wait too long, Ron, to put me on. Okay. I
You
need
come on.
I need a monthly feature, like once a month. I gotta be.
I love it. I like that idea. I mean, Omar, you are the seasoned photographer in the room, and you
Yeah.
come with a whole nother set and level of education and eyesight and the mindset of where you're a photographer that's gone through, I call the modern technology of photography. You've gone from film. That was your life when we were growing up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You were walking around lugging your little camera. For those that know, Omar and our friendship goes 40 years.
Why you have to say little camera?
He used to walk around with his film camera, and now, I mean, you look at what he's doing now. I mean, we could only imagine. It wasn't even a thought in our heads when you were, 22 years old, 23 years old, that you would be knocking out 300 headshots.
No, none of this. In fact, I didn't even know what a headshot was when I was a photographer back in the day. All I wanted to do was fashion, and then we all are growing and learning where our strengths are. Our niche is. I still do fashion, but fashion don't pay. But
it doesn't. Fashion does not pay.
Yeah,
we only do it for the hobby of it.
What I could get for one headshot, of a CEO pays for a full day of fashion work. So let me just say that.
Yes.
But I think the world, our society is facing some amazing challenges. In fact, in legislation, they are talking about regulating AI technology. That is a huge topic in the White House because all of these deep fakes that are happening. I mean, literally, people are getting head swapped into porn movies.
Yes, I saw that on the news yesterday. Was it 2 days ago?
And these are kids. These are like teenage kids.
Yes.
The cyberbullying is at another level with AI. So we're in this field, in this arena where we got to save ourselves from ourselves.
Well,
if we let this loose, even the guy who created OpenAI, I forgot his name, but the individual who created OpenAI, he said, if we don't put a cap on this, we're going into a place we don't want to go to. He said that, the guy who created OpenAI. So where are we going from here? As the users, the people who use it, we allow it in our day-to-day life, and then becomes absorbed. Just like we can't leave our phones behind. Like we will leave the house, and it's like, oh shoot, I need my phone.
Yeah.
And we come back, stop what we're doing because we live on this. So,
your phone is everything.
Yeah, it's
AI will live there.
I don't remember any of my kids' telephone numbers.
I forgot telephone numbers a long time ago.
Because I have the phone. If I
Yes.
lost this phone, I can't contact.
I can't call anyone, and that's why. Well, we're going to talk about that technology. But Omar, you gotta go to a photo shoot.
Yes,
Go
sir.
to your shoot. We are going to talk
everybody.
more,
Love you guys.
and then we're going to close out
Bye,
with Dr.
Omar.
Tachi giving us some wisdom. How about that? Thank you, buddy.
Bye.
So, Dr. Tachi, with all of this that you see, that was something that was happening. I couldn't believe when I saw it. It was just on the news 2 days ago. I was at my mom's house cleaning up, and it was on TV, and it was saying how these people was switching people's heads on stuff and putting teenagers and kids in porn. And I was like, it was like, and the girl, she was like 16 years old, maybe 15 years old. She says they took a picture from her Instagram feed.
Mm-hmm.
Just took it from her Instagram feed, which I never thought. You can't copy and paste from Instagram.
But you can take a screenshot.
Right, and here's the other thing too. Because we feed Instagram so many different images from so many different views, all you need is a certain amount of views of a person's head, and they can recreate a 3D model of you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Blew my mind.
Absolutely.
So
But this is... Sorry.
As we close out, where do you... How do we... Well, what do you see this technology being able to do within the next 2 or 3 years?
Well, we've already seen with the advent of Sora from OpenAI, the same people that do ChatGPT, that it's going to be possible to create films that have photorealistic quality, right? It's already somewhat possible now, but there are still some limitations. We saw from that news story, and that, by the way, has been happening.
Yes.
It's not something that is new. It has been happening, but I think sometimes news cycles latch on to what is sensational, and that raises more alarms and awareness. But let me tell you, that type of thing has been happening. People have been, I mean, even on the simpler end of stealing pictures to create social media accounts, to now you having them move and be in motion pictures. So this is not a new thing, but we already see what is possible.
Yes.
The next level again is the full-fledged video created with AI. And I don't think that it's necessarily a bad thing. It can be a bad thing, but it doesn't have to be. The thing is, we tend to overly focus on the bad players of these things and not focus on the good that can be done with these things. Let's look at the possibilities of AI for people that are that have disabilities or that are differently abled. What they're going to be able to do with those things that have not been were not available to them before. So I think we need to look at the wonderful possibilities that exist with AI. I think also we do have to get ahead of it. This was part of the biggest part of the writer's strike and the actors strike was it was the fact that studios,
that was the reason for it.
That was the reason. Exactly. There were other things rolled in, but that was the biggest thing, because now with these tools, studios were going to have the ability to use your likeness into you know that word, perpetuity.
And not pay you for it.
And not pay you for it. They can replicate your voice. So now if Pixar wants to come out with a new animated film, I really don't need the human actors to do it. I could replicate that voice. So there were all sorts of things there. But again, the worry is too late. We have to be futurists when it comes to this technology. We have to know what's coming down the pike and be aware of how it can be used, and not be, and see, that's what we are in the US. We are reactive and not proactive. So I would say we need to be more proactive with it, learn the beauty of it, learn how to use it. It is a tandem. It will not replace. For all of us that are like using a camera, whether it's like me as a filmmaker or you all as photographers, there's nothing that is going to replace the human eye. So you may be able to replicate AI-wise, but it doesn't replicate the human spirit. There's something when I look at photos from the two of you that it's like, oh, they zeroed in on this. AI can try and replicate that, and they may be able to in some ways do it, but it never has that human spirit. So I think that's what we need to take away from this. It is a tool. It is a tandem. It is not the end all and be all. And we need to be futurists.
Oh, I love that. Futurists. And man, that was good. Good conversation here today, as usual. Like I said, I think we'll have more of these conversations, especially AI. AI is, and again, like I say, it is my best friend. I've learned so much by even using it, or I'll use it as I'm creating conversation and say, correct me grammatically and make it more appealing. I go back and I'm reading over it and I'm like, oh yeah, I need to put a comma there, or I need to do this that better. So it's helped me also to learn things that I did not or may have forgotten from high school or junior high school about certain parts of grammar. So I love it. I embrace it, and but I was hoping definitely we could figure out this Facebook thing. Elise did send me a clip, and I think I forwarded in my in my Instagram of how to opt out of the Facebook this whole thing with Facebook and the enjoying us into the AI world.
And I put something, an article for you in the chat as well,
Awesome.
in the private chat, so you all
Okay.
can take a look at that from MIT.
You guys, let me put this up on the screen. Oh, let me move that over there, and then move that into the box here.
Okay.
And then I'm going to just share it real quick. Okay, there we go. That way everyone can have it as well, so you can see it from the screen. Okay, here we go. Present. But I think this is such. I mean, because so many people are running scared, like, "Oh my gosh, it's AI! They're coming to get us." But
It's
yeah,
Orson Welles all over again, and
yes.
yeah.
But this is the article that Dr. Tachi just sent to me. MIT Technology Review Insights, multimodal AI's new frontier. So guys, kind of like if you want to get into learning more about AI, don't be afraid of it. Learn it. Learn about what its capacities. Learn what it's doing, and then also learn of ways to prevent yourself from being bamboozled by folks through it, or how to protect your images, how to protect your stuff online from bad players. Because wherever there's good in anything created, there's always bad players. I don't care if it's medicine. I don't care if it's the latest pill, if it's the latest, it's always a bad player that wants to corrupt the thought and do it in some other way and use it for mean or evil,
For evil.
like, so anyway, so there you go, have it. I'll put this link also in the description of this video. Man, I could go on and on with this technology stuff because it is so fascinating to me.
It is.
Okay, Dr. Tachi, thank you so much. And we're gonna have to do a part 2 because diving in to this whole thing with the Facebook, I think is going to be I mean, it's really going viral. A lot of people are really upset.
Again, if we are watching what's happening, we see that these things are happening. And so this is not, I like everybody notice all of a sudden, okay, why is this AI thing here when it comes to search and that type? And I don't want that there. Everybody noticed that, but this is why it pays to read tech publications, because they always do think, especially you guys are Apple people too. So if you read like Apple Rumors or any of those things, what happens is, whenever anybody is going to file a patent, they file it, and that lets you know what technology is coming down the pike. There are people who reverse engineer code so they can see what code is being put in an application, which gives you an inkling as to what features are coming down the pipe. And people reveal this all the time. So if you are reading tech publications like Tech Radar, The Verge, Apple Rumors, they always have somebody that will reverse engineer and will tell you what's happening. So pay attention, and then you will see what's happening, and then you're armed with information.
Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna get off. We're gonna get off here because I want to. But guys, also just so you know, the repeat of this is going to be on our wonderful platform, ND Suit Media, by our wonderful Dr. Tachi. And Dr. Tachi, where are we now on our subscribers?
14,000. 14,000 on YouTube.
14,000
just by us being
subscribers.
us. Yes.
Wow.
Amazing.
Guys, if you have not followed and subscribed to Indie Suit Media, Please do check it out. It is an amazing platform. I'm so honored that I'm a part of it. Chris is a part of it. We're all a part of it. And Dr. Tachi, it was her brainchild and her baby, and she has done amazing work. And she goes nonstop. I said, this woman, I had to give her a little admonishing last week and said, you need to rest, dear. You need to rest.
You did.
But she is, I get it. She's like, this is me. I gotta make this happen. And
It's not just about me though, not to interrupt. It's about you all as well. It's about giving all of us opportunities to up level together or level up together. We're stronger as a collective. So that's why I'm like, let's just do it as a collective instead of being in these separate media and entertainment silos.
Yes.
So it's not just about me.
No, definitely.
Because if it was just about me, I wouldn't do it.
You would be on the beach. And it is such, I mean, it really is. Her purpose is just to be commended, and we all shine when we all lift each other up. Yeah. And that's the beauty of that's why we're all here. I think all of us are birds of the feather that flock together. We believe in each other. We believe in supporting one another. We believe in leveling up together. And that's what makes us such a great community. Some of the folks that come through, they say, wow, your community is really cool. So it's important because that's how, and we don't, and I would say 99.9%, because it can never be 100%. The folks here are not about the BS. And then not about the backbiting and all the stuff that goes on in other platforms where people are talking about each other and making and ridicule and all that bad stuff. This is a place for positivity. And I'm going to close with this. And it was such an honor last night when I was at the Brooklyn Museum. And Jamel Shabazz was speaking and giving us a tour of his photos in the one of the gallery areas. And then he said, after he finished, he says, I want y'all to meet this guy right here. I want y'all to meet Ron. And I was like, oh, he did it again. He put me on. But what blew my mind is that what he said about this community. He was like, this community encourages me. It gives me hope. And when you're in the when you're in the room, someone says that, and you're like, it really makes you appreciate the people you have in your community, and you really appreciate that the people here really do. We really love each other. I can tell you, I love you guys, and we have so much fun together here. We talk offline, we talk online, and that's what's so important. So guys, people are listening and people are watching, and you are impacting lives and you don't even know it. So cheers and shout out to everyone in this platform, everyone that shows up here every day. You pillars, I could not do this without you. Chris and I could not do this without you. So thank you so much. And guys, I'm going to let you guys go because you got to go to work. I got to get to work, and have a great weekend. If I don't see you until Monday, Monday we'll have a Motivation Monday. We'll be back on that, but I will be sharing with you tomorrow because I will be live from the Mermaid Parade here at Coney Island, sharing the ostentatious outfits and the looks and everything. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I will come on our Touch Base Daily on the Move. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Dr. Tachi, thank you for coming on. Thank you and giving us such insight when it comes to AI, the technology, the media, and there's so much more we can learn. And we're going to do that. We're going to dive into it more because this is part of our lives. And so maybe once a month on Focus Friday, we'll do that. We'll commit ourselves to technology and AI and media.
Yes.
Okay, guys, I'm out. Guys, love you. I have to let you guys go. I don't want to let you go, but I got to let you go. Bye.